You had it. Go delete that. Today, as you can see, I have these lovely people with me here today, and we're going to be filming a video about how we each got into Howard. Alright y'all, so we're going to go around in a circle and introduce ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Talia. I am a freshman. My major is elementary education, and I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Hi everyone, I'm Ariane, a freshman nutritional sciences pre-med major from Orlando, Florida.
What's up, y'all? My name is Mike. I'm a sophomore health sciences major on a pre-med track from Columbia, South Carolina.
Hi guys, my name is Armani. I'm a pre-med biology major from Missouri.
Hey y'all, my name is Samira. I'm a freshman and I'm a chemistry pre-med major from Chicago, Illinois.
What's good, y'all? My name is Maze. I'm a freshman computer science major from Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
What's up? My name is Greg. I'm a freshman mechanical engineering major from Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Hey y'all, my name is Brianna. I'm a freshman television and film major from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Alright, so now we're going to get into our stats that we put on our applications to get into Howard. So my unweighted, we're going to talk about unweighted, weighted, and then we're going to talk about our test scores, so the SAT and ACT. So my unweighted GPA was a 3.5 something, and then my weighted was like a 3.9. Well, it was 3.9, sorry.
Keep going.
Oh.
That's fine.
My test scores. Okay, so I took the SAT, and I'm just not gonna disclose.
Oh, you gotta tell me.
Okay, so I had I think 1100. I had 1100, and I never got a chance to take the ACT because when I registered for it, it did not go through. So the day of, I'm like, why I didn't get no email for the test? And by that time, I had already got accepted into Howard, so I was just like, so be it. And I never submitted a ACT score.
Okay, so my unweighted was a 3.5 and then my weighted was a 4.4. For the SAT, so the SAT, it made me really like anxious, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. I scored a 920 the first time I took it. But I'm way smarter than that 920. so then I took it again, and then I got a 940. So then I'm like, okay, let me study a little bit. So then I took it again, and I got a 990. So I never hit the 100. But if you did the super score, I got a 1,000 flat. So that's my 4-digit test score. And then I took the ACT because I heard it was easier, and I scored a 17. So it actually wasn't easier, and I scored way lower on the ACT. It doesn't define me. I think I'm pretty smart.
You are.
If I got
You're
here,
smart.
I'm pretty smart. Okay.
And I just want to add on that I took the SAT like 3 times, and the one that I submitted was the one with the essay.
And I would just like to add that standardized testing does not determine your worth, y'all.
Exactly.
It's already not even built for you to succeed for real.
Mm-hmm.
So really just try your best, and if you're a good standout student, Howard's gonna see you regardless.
Yeah. And I didn't submit my test scores, by the way.
Alright, so my unweighted GPA was a 3.5, and my weighted was a 4.2, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But my test score is ACT, I scored a 24. And we're not going to talk about the SAT score. We can, next person.
Nobody talks about the
Yeah,
SAT.
we're going to talk about that.
So my unweighted GPA was a 3.6. Weighted was a 4.0. When it comes to test scores, I was supposed to take my junior year, ended my junior year, but with COVID, that didn't happen. So I actually didn't even take it in time, so I applied a test option. So that's my story.
So my GPA was a 3.6 unweighted, and then weighted, it was a 3.8. I didn't take the ACT because of COVID, and my SAT was an 1170.
For my unweighted GPA, I had a 3.5, and weighted, it was like 3.9 or 4.0, I don't remember. And I didn't take the ACT test, but I took the SAT. I got a 1,500, so I just submitted that, even though I wanted to do the test optional at first.
Good. Okay.
I could never. Y'all got
I
that.
couldn't.
Nah, I was there stressing.
My unweighted GPA was a 3.9 and my weighted was a 4.7. I didn't take the SAT or ACT. I didn't really see like a point in taking that. The test is answer on blank.
Period. So as y'all might notice, a lot of us said that we did not take the test and we still got in. And I know that for most college applications, it is a requirement to submit your test scores. But due to COVID, Howard made our year test optional. They're also making, what's it, the incoming class, 26, class of 26, optional also. So y'all lucky too.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So my GPA is a little weird. I'm pretty sure I had a weighted 4.38 GPA, but I can't remember the unweighted, and I can't go back and check because they done removed me from the damn district already. So, at this point, I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but at the same time, I feel like my classes were weird. So, like, I feel like at a certain point, the system we were using just cut off the scale even if you were higher. So I don't know if I was higher or lower or if it just glitched. But I had straight A's, y'all. That's it. That's all you need to know. I bust my ass. But I did. Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
So one thing I want to kind of remind some people is that Howard's application and selection process, they don't just look at your stats. Like that's literally a small piece of your application. So I know people that have like low threes, high 2 GPAs, and they still got in. But they have bomb extracurriculars. So just keep that in mind.
I didn't have the opportunity to take the SAT either because they kept canceling. I kept scheduling them, but they kept canceling them every time I would schedule them for COVID. So I literally couldn't take the test. But even if I could, I still wouldn't have taken it. I'm gonna keep it above. Wait. So yeah. All right, y'all. So now we're about to get into the extracurricular activities. I do want to say that there's a big art. This isn't a misconception. Join as many extracurricular activities as you are interested in and as you're passionate about, sure. But don't think that also extracurriculars are the end-all be-all. It's really just about being passionate about what you do enroll yourself in. You don't have to be in NHS. You don't have to be the president of the student council. I was in student council, but that was about it. That's all I really had. So you can just pick one club that you're really passionate about, and then you can really just do a lot of work on the side if you want to. I went to a lot of events, things that were like sponsored by issues that I care about, like performances, shows, things like that. I did a lot of creative work too as well, so like poetry readings, things like that I would go to and I would perform in. That'll also make you look just as good, especially if you like volunteer somewhere, or even if you don't volunteer somewhere, but you just like you go to events and you're like an active member of your community. That'll still make you stand out. Cool. So yeah, as far as me, I was in student council. I wasn't the president. I wasn't like the leader or anything. I was just a member of student council. I wasn't in NHS because I didn't feel like tutoring people. I wasn't in much else. I just went to a bunch of events, and I kept my head in them books. I did do that. But yeah, that's about it.
And to piggyback off of what she said, everything that I was involved in was something I was passionate about. So I was in cheer, I was in choir, I was in SGA, I did volunteer, I did things at the church. I was a junior coach for a younger cheerleading team. So I did everything that I was involved in was everything I was passionate about. So don't get into some club, not saying that band is bad, but don't get in the band because you want it to look good. If you're really not into music, if you're not into band, don't be in band. Go join soccer, basketball, whatever you're into, you know?
Nobody can do band just for it to look good.
Right.
If somebody doing band, it's because they want to do
They want to be
It's
there.
just an example. It's just an example. Just an example. So whatever you're passionate about, but those are things that do look good on your application for Howard. Don't just be a normal student, because it's so many people that's applying, and you need to have something about yourself that makes you stand out or makes you an individual.
Okay, so I was in a lot too. I was the cheer captain. I was involved in SGA for junior year and senior year. I was a part of the science club my freshman year, and I was part of National Honor Society and the Beta Club. And then I did some clubs outside of school, like the Charmeds. I did like the Black History Project. I was like mentoring little girls, and I started my own business junior year, and then I stopped. And then I put a lot of stuff. I was tutoring kids. Like I really lengthened my extracurriculars because I know they're like big on
Strong on leaders.
Yeah, leaders and just like being yourself. So yeah, I think that's all I put.
All right, well, I'll keep mine pretty quick. Long story short, it's quality over quantity. Don't just sign up for clubs just to have a list on your resume. Sign up for the stuff you're passionate about, of course. But one thing that's going to help you stand out is when you join the clubs that you're passionate about, do what you see like best for you. If that's a leadership position or that's being a member. But as like Howard, when they see you in those leadership roles, that's going to give you that one up. Because Howard is already full of leaders. But now you're just adding to that group of leaders, you know? So with me personally, I was the drum major for like 3 years. I was in the honor societies and things like that. But one thing like that I wish I could go back and change, don't put more on your plate than you can eat, you know? Because one thing about it, we can try to get involved in everything, but at the end of the day, time management, you know?
So they're saying a lot about not trying to do too much. I didn't listen to that. So I kind of spread myself thin a lot in high school, but I actually enjoy doing that. I like to keep myself busy. Playing 3 sports. I was student body president, National Honor Society president. Also did things outside of high school. Volunteer hours are great to put on your resume, so keep track of that throughout the summer, throughout the school year. If you decided the regular decision right now, if you're doing early, make sure you're racking up on those and keeping track of that.
So I just want to say that Howard looks for diverse students. For me, I was in music, I was in orchestra, and I've been playing for like almost 8 years now. And then I was also in sports. I was a cheerleader and a gymnast for my high school, and I was interested in STEM. So I did a lot of STEM related clubs. I was in about 6 clubs throughout my 4 years of high school, and I volunteered at a children's museum, which was also STEM related.
And for me, I only did 2 in-school clubs, which was varsity soccer. Did that all 4 years, and then I did Black Student Alliance from 10th to senior year. And then, like outside of school, like during the summer, I would do like leadership programs, where I would do constant training at summer camps. I did a few internships at the Kennedy Center and the Brookings Institute. So it's really just about putting yourself out there and being different in your application.
1,500.
During high school, I was the captain of the football team. I ran track. I also played like 4 instruments. I was in the band for a couple of years, but now I left because my band was like, it was horrible. So I had to leave. I didn't like playing music anymore. Like I used to not like it. And I was the president of the National Honor Society. I don't know, I did a whole bunch of stuff, but like to piggyback off of what they said, like it doesn't matter how many like clubs and stuff you do like that. You have to like on your application, it looks much better if you already know like what is your passion and stuff. Like, all right, as I was saying, I like while you're in high school, I just fought like my advice to you is just probably just follow like whatever you're passionate about, just really kind of dig in wherever like you see fit. So like don't just join a whole bunch of clubs and like put on your application, okay, I was in this club, I was and a whole bunch of other things, but like it's so much better if you can say, okay, I was in these specific clubs and this is what I did actually inside of them, and like the things that you really spent time on and like really doing work, and instead of just like showing up to a whole bunch of events and not doing nothing.
All right, y'all. So now we're gonna get into the letters of recommendations.
Okay, so I really just want to put this out there. Your letter of recommendation are so important. You need to go to somebody that knows you, and then you need to go to somebody that that aligns with your major. You can't be an English major and then say, "Oh, my math teacher likes me. I'm gonna have him write my letters of rec." That doesn't make sense. So for me, I'm a chemistry major. I'm pre-med, so I went to my chemistry teacher and my math teacher, and then I also got one from my principal and my mentor, because those are two other people that know me well and can reflect on who I am as a person more than my teachers could.
So when it came to letters of recommendation, I try to get mine a little early, so that's my biggest piece to you. Don't wait till the last minute to try to get them. You want them to be good, thorough, and detailed. They can't do that if you wait till the last minute to ask. So I personally got my letters of recommendation from my superintendent of our district, because I worked with him closely with a lot of the organizations that I was in when it came to like coordinating events and things like that nature as a leader. So I felt like he was someone that I needed to ask for a recommendation letter. Another person I asked was my AP teacher, my AP government teacher, not government, world history teacher. I did pretty well in her class. We thanked you very well. So I asked her.
Okay, so I do want to jump off of what Armani and Tamara both just said. So Armani was right as far as making sure that you ask your teachers in advance, but don't just ask in advance and then show up when you need it. Keep following up, because as like you're waiting for them to do it, they're still getting flooded with more people asking them for more recommendation letters. So you have to keep up with them to make sure that they get those done in a timely fashion as well, so that they can put the amount of effort into that letter that you need. And on top of that, so depending on your major or the major that you plan to come to college for, or if you're undecided, you might not know what teacher to ask, because you might be like, well, I'm like a weird major, so I don't know what's the closest like subject that I have to that. In that case, do something where your teacher knows you, but do something pretty like general. So like I'm doing a TV and film, which there's no TV and film major in my high school. So I just went with, I had creative writing teachers, which shows that I can build a story well, and I know like characters, I know how to do things like that. So I got people who know that I can do that to write my letters of recommendation. So I got like a screenwriting teacher. I had like a weird high school where I was like a creative writing major. So I got a screenwriting teacher to write for me. I got an English teacher to write for me, just to show that I'm well, like I do well with academic writing as well. And I got like, those are the teachers I feel like really know me, my writing teachers. Like you get to see me pour out my emotions on a page. That's a little different than like me doing a math problem. But if you're a math major, that's important for you. So yeah, I would just say play to your strengths, know what you're good at, and then get a teacher that you know knows your strengths. Like get the teacher who validates your strengths, because they like, you're doing good. Like this is hidden. So get them to write your letter for you. It always helps if you like your teacher that you ask. Like if y'all close,
Yeah,
that helps. So yeah, that's all the advice I got for that.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about essays, and I wrote my essay on how I started a lip gloss business, and then I figured out like in the midst of me doing it that it really wasn't for me, like the whole business life or being a CEO wasn't really my passion. And yeah, So I really think that my essay is what really got me into the school because, like I said, my test scores wasn't all of that, but my essay was like, that was a really strong essay. Like I never wrote an essay that was like that. So yeah.
So what I'll say about the essay is, so going through Common App, choose the prompt that says for you to insert your own essay.
Yeah.
Because you having no prompt, that gives you all the freedom in the world, truly.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So I ended up doing mine on the school to prison pipeline, and as a student, what I would do to combat that, things like that. So find something that you're passionate about, go for it. So do your research, of course, because if you can bring in the outside world into your essay, they can see that you're, one, a well-rounded, smart individual, for one, and two, that it's something passionate, and you can actually go out and make that change that you spoke about.
And also one more thing, I'm gonna say this. When I first got accepted into Howard, I remember all of the students in the chat talking about what they wrote their essay on, how they, you know, not to like knock Michael down, like how they wrote stuff about like that, or how like just some like extraordinary stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know, I didn't really feel the need to go all out and write about like politics necessarily, not necessarily. Politics on my essay. I feel like you can really write about anything and it just be like real popping. Like you can really write about anything. It doesn't have to be something so like, you know, serious or traumatic. It can be anything. Anything can make it.
Actually, I would go as far to say that it's better to not do something as dramatic and like expected. Like now, if it really did make a difference in your life and it truly changed like the directory of it or like a monumental part of yourself, and that's something that you want to like emphasize, that's great. And there's a way to do that. You can talk about something that seems cliche, like I don't know, like a parent's divorce or something like that. You can talk about something like that, but just make sure you focus it on you. Don't make it all about the event. Make it about like how you came back from that event. That's what's important. That's what they want to see. If you make the whole essay about like just that day that it happened to you and that's it, it's gonna fall flat because that's all we get to see is just you on that day, but we don't know who you are every day, right? So I would say it's really better to just make something that you know is very unique to you and you know like can be analyzed, if that makes sense. Like you can read deeper into your essay and really tell a lot about you even though you don't say much. That's the biggest key I can give you, and I think that's what like a really strong essay will do, is it tells a story. Like we get to see who you are as a person and like how you
individual.
Right.
Because how many people gonna write about like traumatic experiences or
Right. Everybody.
Mine was actually on like a traumatic experience, and like what Brianna was saying, it started off as what happened, but I talked about through it, like I lost a family member, and I talked about the way I pulled myself out of my grief and how I don't know, like I just built myself up to be a stronger person, a more motivated person, and how it changed my life from how I felt when it first happened to the person I am today. So it's all about how you put it. And yes, please do not have an essay and talk about everything else in the essay except yourself, because that's all they want to know about is you. They don't care about what your sister did, what your brother did, what your friend did. They care about what you did and how you did it.
Right. And don't think that your story, like you haven't experienced anything to write about in an essay. I literally wrote about me reading an assignment to my class, and it was scary for me. But it was why it was scary and how I overcame it that shows them that I do things that I think are scary all the time. Like that shows you who I am as a person. And even though it seems like, oh, that's just like everybody got to read an assignment for their class, like
Something
who hasn't
basic.
done that? It seems very basic, but the way you portray that story, the way you set the scene, the way you portray your characteristics, that's what will set you up for success.
Yeah. Also, when you start your essay, it can't be boring. Like that first line has to be like, what? I want to keep reading. It can't be like, today I went on the walk. Okay, what happened on the walk? Why were you on the walk? Like stuff like that.
No mission trip essays. No mission trip essays. I remember being in class, in English class, and a student asked, how should I fix this essay? And then my teacher was like, what is it about? And she was like, my mission trip, and everybody in the comments was like, oh, I wrote the same thing. Don't do that. Write about something unique to you, something special, and don't talk about school at all. That's what the comment app is for. Write about you.
Yeah.
I wrote about why I wanted to become a doctor, and like that, how that story is like really special to me. So I think that's what got me into Howard too. So.
Yeah, I think it was my essay too.
With my essay, I kind of connected my school and my career choice, or just my community, my school and my career choice. I come from a predominantly white community, and with a lot of the clubs I'm in, my main reason for joining those clubs and trying to seek leadership positions for that is just to raise representation in those clubs and organizations, and to promote more Black students like me to join those organizations. So in my essay, I just addressed most of the racial disparities in my community and in my school, and connected that with my career field, which is obstetrics. Sorry.
Take your time.
Obstetrics and gynecology, which if you're familiar with that, you know that's a big thing with women going to hospitals and not trusting the doctors. So I definitely connected that with my career choice.
One thing I learned during the essay writing process is that like you don't want to make it an essay you write for school. You want it to be like creative, so you can have some personality, some emotion, some like who you are, so they can read you. Because if you just write some boring essay, they can't get nothing out of you. So that's just.
That should be like a number one. Don't submit an academic paper. It's not an academic essay they're asking for. So I promise you, you will have plenty of opportunities to write academic papers once you get into college. Right now, just write about you. For right now.
I wrote 3 essays, actually.
Don't be afraid to draft.
Right. Well, I wrote, like you said, the academic. It took me all summer. But the one that I submitted, I wrote in one night because I cared about it. Yeah.
And if it is about you, don't write too much about who you are academically. Like, don't try to like write the whole essay just portraying how good of a student you are. We obviously
Nobody
know
cares
that.
about your GPA because somebody else got that same GPA.
Yeah, I had a really cool English teacher who like helped us write our college essays. Like she read through them and like edited them and everything, and she taught us like the do's and don'ts. And she was like showing us all these joins and like, sorry, I'm from Philly. Sorry, showing us all these essays in which like people was just like, I get up every day at 5:00 a.m. and I go on my jog and I do my tests and I go to my classes and nobody knows the real me. Nobody really knows that I'm tired of studying for 18 hours a day, you know? It's just tiring. And I was just like, child, like, you're doing the most. You're doing the most, child. But yeah, be yourselves. Be yourself.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But yeah, what's next?
Greg.
Greg.
Do you have something to say?
I like to say about my essay, like, what I remember about it was just more of my like kind of like personal statement or like just thoughts that are in my head, but it was much more focused. But like I just wanted to put out there like basically how I think and who I am as a person, basically. And I feel like at the college they can really see like what type of person they're putting into the college, like other than all the academic stuff and all that, like even like your extracurricular, like just how you think and how you are as a person. I probably give them like more of a like a scope of like who you are and if they really want you in the university.
Okay, so now we're just gonna answer a few of the commonly asked questions, and I'm gonna start with this one because I feel like this is gonna be the longest question to answer. So the question was, why did we choose Howard University? And we're gonna let Brianna go first.
Okay. I chose Howard mainly because my eldest sister, she already went to college. She also went to an HBCU. She went to Morgan State. And she just talked about the experience like it was really just like the most life-changing experience she could have had, and it gave her like a new sense of identity, kind of grounded her in who she was. And I thought that that would be really nice for me, especially because I've been in public schools my whole life, and they've been pretty diverse because I come from Philadelphia, but I've never had the opportunity to truly surround myself with people who look just like me, who act just like me, who think just like me, who do all that good stuff. But not even just like me, like just black people. I don't know. I think we're very enriching, very enlightened, very cool, very dope without trying hard to be. So I just wanted to, I've never really had like a true sense of like pride being black. Like I've always liked being black, but I've just never had a space or opportunity to truly celebrate it. So that was the main reason I came. Part two, I also just was looking at the what do you call that? The curriculum, I guess, for majors. And I knew that I wanted to be a TV and film major, but I wanted something that was gonna give me an all-encompassing kind of education. I wanted to know how to produce, how to direct, how to film everything, how to edit my own films, all of that good stuff. And Howard was one of the only schools that was an HBCU that would also teach me like a broad overview of how to make films, and not just, you're a director, you're a producer, you're this, you're that. And I had to like go into one kind of narrow path as far as filmmaking, because I want to do a lot of things. So I went there for those two main reasons primarily. Like HBCU A, B, I felt like they were really going to give me everything that I needed as far as education goes. We'll see. I'll come back after senior year and let y'all know how it went. But yeah.
Why I chose Howard? Well, for real, like at first I wanted to go to Morehouse, but I mean Howard, they gave me way more money. I mean, like way more. So I just decided, and I'm from this area, so like I didn't know if I wanted to go. I knew I was going to an HBCU like from the jump. Like there's nobody in my family that didn't go to an HBCU. Like I never. Because you go to HBCU, you're not going to college. But like, I'm from this area, and like I even went to HU Middle School, so like I knew a whole bunch about Howard. So like during the process, like I kind of looked at Howard, but like at the same time I wasn't paying attention to it because like I've had so much experience over here. I was just looking elsewhere, but like once the like opportunity came, I really looked it up. Like although I'm from here, like there's a lot that Howard can offer, and like I'm from a predominantly black community. I knew I didn't want to leave for real, so like I don't know, Howard was the place to be, I guess.
I ain't gonna hold y'all. Like I wasn't really looking at HBCUs until like applications started last year, and I saw the school I wanted to go to was like 3% black or some outrageous number like that. And I was just like not having it, so I started looking at HBCUs, and Howard and NCAT were the top. But since I'm from this area and I got way more money from financial aid, and I also like the urban climate for this area, I chose Howard.
I'm from the Midwest, and I wanted to come over to the East Coast. And like I said, I'm from Chicago, so I'm used to like fast-paced cities and stuff. So the nation's capital was the place for me, and Howard's right here.
My main reason for picking Howard is because, well, just the HBCU in general. I always knew I wanted to come here, but when it came to crunch time and thinking where I wanted to go, I come from a predominantly white high school. Used to being like one of the only black kids doing things and putting myself out there. And I knew I wanted to go to Howard to challenge myself, so I knew I wasn't the only black person doing something. It's black people all around me doing different things. And another reason was because Howard is the #1 producer for black medical school applicants. So for my major, that's very, very important. And I had no other choice other than Howard.
So for me, it was always going to be an HBCU. You know, like PWIs, that wasn't even in the conversation like at all. But why Howard? So Howard, well, going on what she said, it's the greatest like turnout for black medical professionals, which is what we want to do. So my advice for not you choosing Howard specifically, but choosing your school, find the school that has the greatest turnout for what you want to do, you know. But with Howard, it's Howard, you know. When you like, how we all get about Howard intro at the beginning. When you introduce yourself to someone, you say you're from Howard, they stop in their tracks because you Howard, you know.
Yeah.
But joining Howard, you join that notable alumni, like all the people who has come before you and how they're changing the world, you know.
Yeah, so when I first was applying to schools, Howard was not a school I was going to apply to. And like everybody was saying, I was really only interested in HBCUs. I applied to no PWIs, only HBCUs, because I wasn't going to go to a PWI. So yeah, I wasn't going to apply to Howard, but one of my teachers made me apply to Howard. So I just ended up applying. And like I said, we were talking about this yesterday, I really didn't put my all into the application. Like it was just like, okay, whatever, I'm just applying because she told me to, and it's for a grade, blah, 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 so I'm applying. Because my top was another school that didn't accept me, but it's okay. So yeah, so like Armani said, when it came to crunch time, my other top choice was Winston-Salem in North Carolina because they offered me a lot of money, and then I had Howard who also offered me a lot of money, but then I'm like, you know, it's Howard. And I want to be a doctor, and I didn't want to major in biology because I don't know, I feel like I didn't want to just, if I'm going to get a bachelor's degree, I wanted to put used to it if medical school doesn't work out, even though it is going to work out. So they had a nutritional science major, and y'all know, well, if you know me, you know I'm all about like your health and, you know, being healthy and on top of stuff like that. So yeah, nutritional sciences was here, and it was Howard, and I wanted to go far away from home. So this was the best option.
All right, so I'm gonna keep this short and simple because I've talked about this in my first video. So if y'all really want to know like the whole full story, then y'all can go check that out. But when I was here, I don't know how to add the link, so it won't be a link. You're gonna have to look yourself. But when I was in the 5th grade, I came to Howard, toured it, and it was just something about it that was like, I'm gonna go to this school one day. So I held myself to that, and I'm here. Simple. HBCU. Now I'm gonna say this. Everybody was against PWIs, but my second choice was a PWI. It was Georgia State University.
Yeah.
That's a really great school. Like, it's a great school. So it had me. It is a great school. So it had me like, but nothing could stamp Howard. No matter how many HBCUs I got into, if I got into Howard, that's where I was going. Thank y'all for the acceptance, but I'm not coming. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with if you choose to go to a PWI, but I just know that that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how much money they offered me. I was just not gonna go.
Yeah.
I wanted to be around black people and black people only. I just wanted to be
It's a vibe. Like,
it is a vibe.
It's a vibe between, even if you don't know this black person, it's just a vibe there because you're black. Like, I don't know.
I never wanted to get the, I'm the only black person in my class. Oh my gosh, all these white people, this white person said, oh.
No, yeah, be honest about your experiences as a black lady. Go ahead.
This white person said this to me and blah, 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 dealing with all these, like, you know, racial problems. I just didn't know. That was not for me. So.
Yeah. And then, like, no, like, for real though, this is a true thing, especially like with our hair. Like, the girl next door, she might not have no got-to-be or no lace glue.
Yeah.
Like, it's serious. Seriously, like, I thought about these type of things, and it's
This is Chocolate City. We want to be surrounded just by chocolate. That's what we got.
Yeah.
One of the main things that one of my counselors told me, or we discussed before I made my decision, was like a lot of people say like, oh, don't go to HBCU. It's not going to show you what the real world is like, or whatever. But you'll have the rest of your life to be around, you know, other people. But it's just something about, you know, experiencing your own people.
Yeah. Especially like as your teachers too, your professors. Having a professor who looks like you is like, that's enough.
And don't believe in that getting you prepared for the real world, because I don't understand that. I feel like when people say that, they're like relating it to race, like experiencing different things in the real world, when this is the real world. people are people. So you're gonna experience anything, anywhere. So don't believe that's not true.
And I will argue that this prepares you as a black person more for the real world, because the real world is constantly going to try to strip you of your identity, tell you why it's not good enough, tell you why you need to be this XYZ, tell you why you being black and saying things the way you say things and speaking the way you speak and thinking the way you think is just not good enough. And as a result, you come to a place where you know you're good enough regardless. Like, you don't have to be the same as the person sitting next to you, nor do you have to be better than them, because you aren't better than them. Like, y'all are equals, and y'all are working together towards a common goal, and you know who you are. The history isn't tampered with. Like, we know exactly what's going on. We're getting taught about our actual history. There's no textbooks being closed, no pages being lost. We literally learn about who we are and being solidified in that before we go out into the real world that's constantly gonna try to tell us to be somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think this prepares you more. And plot twist, I will say this. My first choice originally was USC, and I didn't apply just because I got mixed up on the deadlines as to like when my major had to apply. I thought I could apply regular decision, but my major needed early decision, and I wound up not being able to apply. So then I was like, I guess I could just go to Howard, and this wound up being like a really cool decision. Like, I'm surrounded by people who I truly think are admirable, which is a lot to say.
It's only been like 2 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and I love it here.
I
love it.
I haven't come across a single person who I've been like, hey, have a nice day, like, hey, blah, XYZ, like your skirt, like your shirt, like XYZ, whatever. And they've literally just been like, thanks, girl. Thanks, bro. Like, what's up? Like, it's always been a vibe here since I got here. So, even first day, she came to my door like, what's up? Come on out. Like, let's talk. I'm like, hey, sis, what's up?
My roommate was not here. That's my roommate, by the way. She was not here, so I was like, I need to find somebody to talk to.
So, yeah, put yourself out there.
The next question was, when does the applications open? They are open right now.
Yeah.
So I think the deadline is, I'm pretty sure it's still the same.
November 1st.
Yeah, November 1st for early decision. And also,
That's February for normal decision? I think that's when I
the
applied.
deadline. The deadline for regular decision is February.
Yeah.
And there was another follow-up question that asked, when did you hear back? So when you do the early decision, you hear back by like Christmas time. And then when you do regular decision, you hear back like in April.
But I seen they changed it for the early action and early decision. They're letting you know your decision late January.
Okay.
Yeah, they're making it way there. And we didn't find out like the day we supposed to find out either.
It was like the next day.
Yeah, we was all struggling at like 1 o'clock in the morning looking for this
Oh.
Oh, I want to know.
Also,
Please, go.
I'm sorry. No, you go.
Go ahead.
You
Sure.
go. You got it. I was gonna say something stupid.
Know the difference between early decision and early action. So early decision is if I'm accepted to the school, it's just binding. So this binding, that means like it's a contract. If I get into the school, I'm going. That's early decision. But early action is not binding. Is if you get in, you still have a choice between the other schools you've been accepted to. So just be sure if you want to go to Howard and you made early decision, it's binding and welcome nation.
Oh, right.
And if you apply early action, it gives you more time to like decide where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I did for all of the schools I applied to, I did early action, and some of them had like rolling admission, so it was like ongoing. And it gave me like all the way February until May 1st, like decision day to decide where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And guys, please be careful with the binding, like early decision contracts, because if you get in somewhere and you have to go, they might not give you the financial aid that you need or that you want, and that would be really bad if you got stuck in a situation where you were financially struggling to pay for school and you were bound to that. So be careful.
Yeah. Apply for scholarships. Apply. Especially if you want to come here. Apply.
This is expensive. Like,
It's expensive, guys. Keep it
all kinds of
real.
money.
They
It's
give you a lot.
expensive.
They won't give you enough. I'm playing.
No, it's true. They give you a lot, but it's not enough. It don't cover the whole thing. Now, if you got a full ride, God bless you. God bless you.
And all the
That's
power
You-
to
pay for
right.
going to HBCU.
Literally.
We really
Literally.
paying to submit homework. Like I never heard anything crazy like that.
Yo,
Like,
the website for math, after our 2-week trial,
It's
it's like $100.
Like that is ridiculous.
Child.
Like, dang.
Oh wait, I forgot to put a moral into what I was saying about USC. So the moral was, because I wound up not going to USC, is that sometimes the thing the thing you're not thinking about winds up being the thing that's best for you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Is that so you might really be like, Howard is my dream school, and you 100% can get in, but just know that like if the stars align and something happens where you just can't get here, don't let that close you off to opportunity as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you, a door closed here is a door open elsewhere. Like, you'll find somebody else who's gonna welcome you with open arms, and you might come across something 10 times better than like what you would have ever experienced here.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it. It's just
The plan that you created for yourself might not always be the plan that is
God
supposed to
has
be
a
for your
plan.
life. God, He gonna do what He wanna do for your life. So, yeah. I prayed a lot, so I'm pretty sure that's how I got in that essay. Because I prayed about it like every day, you know?
Well, I was praying to get into spelling, but look at I'm
But God said that ain't for you.
Because I bought Spelman shirts. I had the jacket. I was like, y'all want Spelman? Y'all will see me in Atlanta in the fall, and I'm in DC.
truly.
But
All right, y'all. So that is the end of the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it this far, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any more questions, you can leave it in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer them for you guys. Also, thank you to everybody who responded on the individual's Instagram post and asked the question for the video.
All right. We'll see you soon, future Bison.
yes.
Yes, HU26. We can't wait to see y'all here. Hopefully. All right.
All right.
And with that, HU.
You know.